Yes guys, it's Jando back with another video, and today we're going to be looking at how you make Lupo / Jappa style basses in XFER SERUM, Ableton, FL Studio, all of them. This is how you make those style of basses, very minimal jump uppy style. So yeah, this is the track that we're going to be looking at, and there's going to be 2 or 3 basses in this track that we're going to be looking through today and showing you how I made them. But yeah, this is the track. Let's give it a listen.
It was one of those nights I was being kind of lethargic.
So yeah, let's get straight into the first patch. Yes guys, just before we jump into the video, if you're interested in copying preset packs, sample packs, mix and mastering services and a bunch of other stuff, head over to our website, jandodnb.com. I've got all of my stuff on there now that I finally launched it. We've got the shop, which includes all of the preset packs, sample packs, and it's also got mix and mastering services here. If you head over to the services tab, it will give you more information about the mix and mastering services, as well as what you need to do if you are going to buy them. Soon I'll put up all of my dub packs. My DNB masterclass will be up there very soon as well, with a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, go over to jandodnb.com, check out all of the content, and nice one. So the first patch we're going to be looking at is this first stab bass. So yeah, let's I've got a fresh serum patch here. And let's get straight into how I've made this. So to start off with, you want to go over to basic shapes, and then we're going to set this to wavetable position 4 on the square wave. We're going to turn the random all the way down, the level all the way down, then we're going to turn the level down on the sub and turn the sub on. Then we're going to assign LFO1 to the level of oscillator A, and also to the level of the sub oscillator. And we're going to go ahead, flip the filter on, and we're going to go stick on MG low 12. We're going to move the cutoff slightly to the right, about 601 Hertz. And then we're going to push the res up 70%. And then we're going to chuck LFO1 onto the driver at full. After this, we're going to make our LFO shape. So we're going to switch this to trigger. We're going to chuck on dot, and then move this to 1/8 dot, and then we're going to try and make our shape here. So it's a bit of a different shape. So this is the shape that I've just made, so copy this down, and yeah, we're on 1/8 dot trigger, and yeah, this is it for the oscillator tab. So we're going to move over to the FX tab now. We're going to flick on distortion, and we're also going to chuck on the compressor. And for distortion, we're going to keep it on tube, and we're going to automate this to 100. And then for the compressor, we're going to push up the gain to probably about 6.5 dB and turn on the multiband. And then we're going to set the highs to 119%, the mids to 135%. I'm going to drop the lows to 54%. And that should give us a sound like this. Very Lupo style. I mean, that's kind of Lupo and Jappa style. So next we're going to move on to our post-processing here. So for the post-processing, we've got camera crusher, just saturating, distorting it a little bit. So you don't have to use camera crusher, obviously, if you don't have access to it. Then we're using decapitator, which we're distorting quite a lot. So we've got this on drive 5, and that's it for that. We're on style E. Then we've got our Fab Filter Saturn 2. So we've not really done much on here. We've just boosted a couple of levels. So band 2 is 0.9, band 3 is 1.35 dB, and then we haven't touched the like low mids here. Then we're going to chuck on our Valhalla supermassive reverb. So you can just copy down these settings, but we've done 16.7% on the mix, 19.8 ms on delay. We've done 630 Hertz on the low, 3940 Hertz on the high EQ. But yeah, just copy this down. And then we've got our EQ, which we're just rolling off that low end. And that gives us that stab sound. And we can play that with the rest of the track. Perfect. So that's the first sound out the way, and that's how you make that kind of stab sound. And then the next one is this Reese style like horn. So I've got a fresh serum patch here again. I'm going to have a look at how I made this one. So to start off with this one, we're going to pretty much be doing the same thing. We're going to drop the level down on oscillator A. We're going to keep the random up this time because it's kind of like a Reese style. We want to keep the random oscillator on. The random phase on. It's going to give us that like nice natural movement. We're going to drop the level down to 0 on the sub and keep that at 0. And then we're going to assign the level to the LFO to level of oscillator A, oscillator B as well, and then also the level of the sub at 75%. We're going to flick on MG low 12 and we're going to put this back up to, let's say, we're going to do 65% here. Cutoff's going to be at about 542. And then we're going to put the LFO 1 on the drive again. We're going to change this to basic shapes and we're going to go for the same square wave in position 4. And then for this second one, we're going to leave as is on this like triangle wave. But we're also going to mess around with the fine tune here. So I'm going to put this at 60% fine tune. And then on this one, I'm going to put it at negative 60. Perfect. Right, so now for the LFO shape, we're going to change this to trigger. We're going to move this down to bar. And then we're going to make this kind of shape here, just like that. And then we're going to move over to the FX tab. So in the FX tab, we're going to do distortion, chorus, and also compressor. For the distortion, we're going to do pretty much the same thing. So we're going to drop this level to 0, and then we're going to put this at about 60%. For the chorus, we're going to drop the rate to 0, delay 1 to 0, delay 2 is going to stay at 0. We're going to do the depth to 3 ms. The feed is going to be at 0, and the LPF is going to be full, and then we're going to pull the mix down to about 30%. After that, we're going to go on to the compressor, turn on multiband, and push the gain up probably to, I've done about 13%. We're going to do 119 on this, 135 on the mids, and 54 on the lows. Then that should give us a sound like this. So now we're going to look at the post-processing again and turn this up. We're going to go through the post one by one. So camel crush, decapitator, pretty much the same processing as the last patch. I had a supermassive reverb. We've got a compressor on that and also an EQ to take off that lows. And that should give us a sound like that. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to automate our pitch bend. So I've got a pitch bend here. And all we're doing in here is we're just clicking on the pitch bend knob. And then we're going to automate that into this. So it's going to start at 1 and end at 0, basically. And then that's going to give us this sound. What we're also going to do here is something that I've just missed out, is we're going to automate our cutoff of the on here. So if you select the cutoff, we're going to start it at 0.25 and bring it up to 0.53 really quickly. And then that gives you that exact sound that we've just listened to. Now if we listen to that together. Perfect. Right, let's move on to the next patch, which is the wobble bass here. And we've got our, this is the bass. This one's very, very Lupo style. And then we've got our fresh patch here to look at. So yeah, let's get straight into how I made this one. So this one's very similar to the last patch. What we're going to do is we're going to turn on our sub oscillator. And we're just going to have oscillator A on. We're going to put LFO 1 onto oscillator A at 75%, and then we're not actually going to use the sub in this one, so we can turn that one back off. We're going to turn trig on. We're going to turn dot on and put this to 1/16 dot, and then this is the shape that we're going to have, something like this, and just drop it slightly. And we're going to turn the filter on, and we're going to set the filter cutoff to 644. We'll set the res to 65. And then we're gonna leave it at that. We're also just gonna change the oscillator shape to oscillator wavetable to position 4 again. And we're gonna set this to perfect. Into the FX tab, we're going to go on to distortion, chorus, compressor again. We're going to pull the drive down slightly, and we're only going to have this at about 10%. And then for the chorus, we're going to drop all of these again. Depth is going to be at 3 ms, feeds 0, LPF at full, and the mix at 30%. And we're going to turn the multiband on. Push the gain up to probably about 13-ish again. We're going to put this at 119, 135 for the mids, 54 for the lows. And that's the sound that we'll have there. So we are going to automate the pitch bend on this now. So if I clear these, we're going to automate our pitch bend. So to start off with, we're going to set our pitch bend in here. We're going to set this to 11. And we're going to select our pitch bend. And for the pitch bend, we're going to push this all the way to the top and then all the way down to the bottom. And that's the same as the last patch as well. Like that Reese one we did starts at 11 and drops all the way down to 0. And then the post-processing is going to be the exact same as all the others. We just turn that tab filter off. Camel crusher there, decapitator, Valhalla Supermassive, and then we've got our EQ just rolling off that low end. And then all together that sounds very Lupo / Jappa style bass. So all of these are very like Lupo Jappa style. It's like minimal jump up, super sick sounds. Both of them are like really sick producers, very unique in their sound. So yeah, that's how you make that kind of style of bass. Nice one.